Hello YouTube friends, Dr. Teresa here again, and I am featuring another question that has been asked of me. Adam 3 mentioned that one of his smaller adults has died and he wondered what might be the cause. Well, of course, that would be impossible for me to say, but if Adam were an inexperienced saltwater fish keeper, the first thing I might suspect is water quality, and I would recommend that he check his water parameters. But I happen to know that Adam is a very experienced saltwater keeper, and I don't suspect that is his issue. Then the next thing I would take a look at is how much he is feeding the dwarf seahorses. New dwarf seahorse keepers notoriously underfeed their seahorses. So the ratio has to be just right. And it's a little bit challenging to find that balance in the beginning, but if you notice, the seahorses can be kind of lazy. Sometimes they'll chase after their food, but for the most part, they're pretty content just sitting and waiting for the food to pass them by. And if it's not passing them by often enough, they're not getting enough to eat. Another thing that I like to ask about is enrichment. Brine shrimp, even though it works very well in an aquarium setting, is not a dwarf seahorse's natural food item. And brine shrimp really isn't as nutritious as copepods would be, which are the natural food source in nature. So it is important to raise dwarf seahorses long term, and especially younger seahorses who need lots of nutrition and energy, to make sure that you are enriching your brine shrimp. And I do have a couple of videos talking about my brine shrimp enrichment recipe for dwarf seahorses, as well as how much and how often, if you want to take a look at those. And then finally, if you feel all of those pieces are in place, your water parameters are good, you are enriching your brine shrimp, and you are feeding at an appropriate density, sometimes seahorses just die off. It is survival of the fittest, and especially when we're thinking about younger seahorses, those that are born in the wild have maximum of 34 to 35% success rate or survival rate. So anything higher than that or even close to that in the aquarium is a success in my opinion. So anyway, I hope this video helps you if you've been having trouble with some die-off. I still have die-off even with adults, and sometimes it seems to go in waves. Could be related to water parameters when I have a high concentration of dwarf seahorses. Sometimes it's just age or susceptibility to disease because of age. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you have more questions, please feel free to reach out. I'd love to hear from you. Thanks so much for watching, and take care.